Hi there, Mysterious Jackson here from the Mysterious Show here. And what I'm going to talk about, Xenoverse 2 has ended. And what I mean by that is, okay, so when you really think about it, and you play it back, and then you pay attention to the final cutscene after you beat Oob, and then they basically go out into the sunset and fly off. And Cronola, aka the Supreme Kai of Time, she says, "No, this is the story to where Xenoverse 2 comes to an end. And although there are many ways evil can rear its ugly head, that part is true. But although Xenoverse 2 has ended, the game is still played. And I know what you're probably thinking, but Mysterious, how could it come to an end if people still play it and there's still content coming out for it? And the story still gets continued. And to that, you're right. The story still has more coming to it, and there is still content coming out for it. But see, due to the fact how Bandai Namco works, if they have something that is popular, and people still play and still want content coming from it, here's where DLC comes in. The more DLC come in, the more the money is going to come from it. And people are going to play it more often, because that's what's essentially keeping this game alive. Because in a technical sense, Xenoverse 2 is a dead game. And what I mean by that is, there is technically nothing more that it has to offer besides DLC. And how can they expand on the DLC? Is put more characters in it and expand the story. Because each story that gets added to the game, it ends in a cliffhanger so that it can have more DLC added to it and the story can expand, because that's where the money is right now. And see, what is also expanded upon, I'm not the only person that feels this way. And what I mean by that is, there are other YouTubers, people like Kai and people like Cabby, Slow Plays, Burkle, and many other people in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 and Fighters community that feels this way. Because the more DLC that's added, the better the chances for the game to stay alive. And another reason why DLC is important, because the more DLC that is sold to the game, it opens the door for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 to come. Because that's how marketing works. Aside from it being 1,000 other franchises, the more DLC Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has, the better Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 is being made. Because right now, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 is in development. And I don't think the Xenoverse franchise will end just at 2 games. Because Xenoverse 2 has made enough money for them to make Xenoverse 4, 5, and 6, if you really think about it. And Xenoverse as a whole, not just 1 and 2, but Xenoverse has enough revenue to make more than 13 games. And let me explain. When Xenoverse 1 was made, it set the precedent for RPG anime games and how they should be represented. And that's why you see games like Naruto, Boruto, Shinobi Strikers. And that's why you see other elements to games, because there was no other game in an RPG aspect like this until Xenoverse. But, to be honest, what started the Dragon Ball creature character and leveling them up aspect, and a lot of people do not like this game. I'm not one of them. But the precedent where it started is when Dragon Ball's Ultimate Tenkaichi was made. And what I mean is, there was no Dragon Ball fighting game that allowed you to make your own created character until Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi came out. And I get why people don't like it, and why it didn't receive a sequel or an expanded upon. It was because it had a lot of things that was missing from it. And definitively, it can't be saved because it's too late within the cycle to be, revived. And it wasn't having a lot going for it. And it's too late for it to be expanded upon because it was rushed in a lot of areas. And it was like, okay, this is the blueprint on how RPGs are going to be going on here on forward. And with that said, Xenoverse 2 will be expanded upon. If you want an in-depth episode about how I feel about this, tune into my podcast on Spotify. See you there.